Here with first-year Greeneville coach Dan Hammonds, which is actually, I guess it's 15th year coach, but could you talk a little bit about, not a lot of people eager to follow Kane Ballard, but the kids and everybody here seems totally confident and supremely happy that you're the man that's following him.
That's good. Yeah, there's low on applications, but there's a lot to follow for sure, and a great legacy in Coach Ballard, and just a lot of hard work. So, when you're kind of at the top and a couple in a row, then a lot of people are afraid if they come in and lose some games, then it would be a bad thing right off the bat. But we can't. For me personally, I can't really look at it that way. We're always striving to be the best we can be on every year and every team we have. So that's always the goal, and that's where I'm at on it.
I know that I should have used what you said the other night when you were talking about how much he cared about the kids and hated the limelight and had kids swimming over at the house since they were young. But the family atmosphere is just, it's not missed a beat, it doesn't feel like down here.
I think, today, a day like today in this camp where we're together nonstop, and that just makes, builds that. As much time as we spend together in this room, especially out on the field, we just kind of have that bond and camaraderie to make sure we got each other's back.
And I'm sure you get tired of hearing about him, but could you say a little bit about just being in the family with Benny Hammonds and also playing for your father Gary in middle school, just how coaching's kind of in your DNA?
Yeah, it was a lot, growing up, Christmas time and everywhere else, a lot of talk about football around the house and everything else. And both of them big influence on me, and my cousin Lee, Benny's son, too, been coaching for a long, long time, and just being able to share with those guys, bounce ideas back and forth, and being able to play with my dad's coaching, it was something special.
And then as far as the outgoing senior class with Cade, Cameron, Dorian, and a slew of others, but I guess, and great leaders, all of them, but at least you inherited some really good players, including a phenomenal leader in Ty Youngblood.
Right, those guys were, a great leadership group and held each other accountable really, really well on a daily basis, each other. And they just said whatever they wanted to each other, and everybody got on board. And that's what was, special about them, I think, is they just never let off and always stayed on each other. But you hope that passes down now, and it seems that it has. So it's this group's job to carry that tradition on and on following, and so far they've done a great job with it. With a couple of prominent transfers in A.J. Stewart and Drew from Catholic at quarterback and receiver, it looks like. How important it is for guys like Ty and Will to, kind of get them meshed in. Yeah, for sure. When somebody comes in, you're always worried about how they're going to come into the group, but both those guys have transitioned in and doing a really good job. It's one good thing here, the culture that Coach Ballard has set up and that's present, they kind of either get on board or get out, one of the two, and both those guys are on board and working really hard. I think some people have a hard time adjusting at first to the physicality and how much work we do. Both those guys have just jumped in and got right into it.
Chris Everhard, he'll have a number of high D1 offers, it looks like. And you were talking about him being a junkyard dog, but a clean player and just a guy that loves to play the game. How's it to inherit someone like him?
Well, it's awesome because he's a guy on 4th and 1 you can go behind. The coaches love his film just because of his nasty that he's got, but he don't go overboard with it. He keeps it within check pretty well. But to have him, somebody that you can count on in his back as a leader on the offensive line, he's did a good job of stepping on into that role even more now that he's the senior of the bunch, of carrying those guys and keeping them on task.
And then maybe a couple of the skill guys, which obviously we mentioned Drew and AJ, but Mason, sophomore running back that appears to have a neon sign bright future.
Yeah, coaches are really excited about him. Coach Crawford's coaching running backs, and he just keeps bragging on him. He's a kid that in the off season really, really worked hard, has worked on putting weight on and controlled his diet really well. He's done everything you can think of to try to be in position to play, and looks really good right now. And those seniors, some of the other skill guys are coming along that we've been waiting on to quote unquote wait their turn and get on the field in first quarter action.
that have so far done well in 7-on-7 too.
And I should have just asked you a general, just to be at this place in your life, just how fortunate, how blessed it feels to be here.
Well, it's a great program to be a part of. From support from within the school and in the community is awesome. You know, to run this 2-day camp, you know, there's so many people, hands go into it. Last night, the moms were here with seniors doing a picture, and I thought that was really cool. It just kind of shows how much everybody's invested into this program, into this town. And, you know, you don't get that everywhere, and it's less and less, I think, as time goes the last few years. But there's people just crazy support. And as far as me, I mean, I'm just in a different role, doing the same thing, trying to get to the same goal, but just a different role with it.
And I know it's premature to even ask, but what is the ceiling for this team? I guess you all still think there's no reason to think y'all aren't right up there at the top statewide to control your own destiny if you stay healthy and so forth?
Well, the expectation of the community is certainly not changed whatsoever, and there's been several people, you know, make sure that they pointed that out. So that's there, but, you know, for us, our goal is always the same, and that's to get to the end, you know, be playing in December. And we understand how much has to happen between now and then and all the things that go into it. But I think our guys know, and we talked about it this morning before we lifted, you know, why we do what we do. And it shows when we go up against other people. Our conditioning and physicality is what we're trying to get ahead of other people. And they understand in order to get where we want to go, that's what they have to do. And they've done a great job of doing it, you know, from January all the way up to this point. But it's a long ways to go to get there still.
And I should have asked something specifically about Ty, but he's an exceptional guy between the lines and outside the lines, it seems.
Yeah. He's one of a kind, all right? He's all around. So you see, you know, what you see is what you get with Ty. He's a special one, and he's got it all. You know, he's got the leadership, he's got the football, he's got the academics, a well-rounded young man.
Okay, we appreciate your time,
Thank
Coach.
you.